Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Supatease here with another video, and guess what? Warlock Boomkin is back. I've been having a lot of fun with this composition in particular. It focuses on a strategy that is mostly about defense. I'd say 90% defense, 10% offense. That's the main way that you want to be thinking about it. But boy, is it a lot of fun when you fight melee DPS. And I didn't think that it would be, right? A Warlock into melee DPS, why would you want to do that? That doesn't sound like too much fun. But actually, it was pretty good into double melee, pretty good into rogue mage, pretty good into basically every composition, spellcaster, mirrors. I think with more practice and mastery of the composition that it has potential to go a long way. And I've had fun in the past playing this composition with warlocks like Maldiva, and in this clip I'll be playing with him as well as Zilia on Holy Paladin. I'm going to be going over the strategy and what I'm thinking about to accomplish victory in the game, so that if you're interested in playing this composition, you'll be able to do the same. So this is a composition that I prioritize deep roots as an honor talent. I think as a druid with a warlock, this is a good synergy. This way, roots will not break on dot damage, and if healers dispel roots with unstable affliction, they take a lot of damage. This is really good synergy. Generally speaking, Hammer of Justice is going to be used on your kill target with unstable affliction to cover the dispel. That way that you can free cast. If your warlock is the target, you want to try and crowd control the Holy Paladin, pop all of your cooldowns, your Celestial Alignment, your Covenant ability, and try and kill one of the DPS dealers. Trying in this matchup to crowd control both of them with stuns like Shadow Fury, Hammer of Justice, or Cyclones to prevent them from healing and helping each other. As a result, you will force cooldowns like Avenging Wrath from the Holy Paladin in this instance, and the Medallion from the Arms Warrior. So the Arms Warrior will be unable to escape crowd control. But your Warlock in this composition is just going to be run, 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 run. Your goal as a Boomkin when you're not being attacked is to root. Keep your dots up on as many targets as possible. Generate astral power with Lunar Strike or Solar Wrath, and be able to pump out a ton of Star Surges. That's your main goal. Here, the Shaman uses Ascendance and Bloodlust. This is the hardest hitting attacks of the Enhancement Shaman. You generally don't want to be standing on top of them the way that I am. And in a way, I'm purposely letting them attack me because I think my Warlock will be more fragile. As I take damage, I'll go into bear form and activate Frenzied Regen. If you're playing this, I would recommend going into bear form immediately. Don't sit out of bear form as I did in that instance, as it is likely going to be your highest chance to die at that period of the game. When you go for Hammer of Justice on a damage dealer, you want to try and crowd control the healer with Cyclone. So I used Hammer of Justice on Shaman, but my Cyclone was a little bit late, so make sure the Cyclone is first so the healer can't dispel. Use your Mass Entanglement Solar Beam combo on enemy healers to root them in place and silence them, and then go after the vulnerable DPS. Like the Warrior is very overextended at the moment, and his team is very far back away from him, and I use Typhoon to knock them even further away. And one of the main reasons this composition even really works is the Sacrilash legendary on the Warlock. This is mandatory in all instances. It will make their corruption slow the target. Otherwise, your composition doesn't have a slow. But when your composition has a slow, you turn this into a tower defense game where you're just snaring up anyone running at you and dotting them up and trying to whittle them down, focusing mostly on survival. But you can see that I'm weaving in some offense, and whoever isn't being attacked should try to weave in offense, which you will most likely be as the balanced druid, because people don't want to leave a warlock open. Generally speaking, Cyclones are going to be onto the Paladin and the Shaman, damage onto the Warrior. This way, because Enhancement Shamans heal a lot and Holy Paladins heal a lot, you remove the healing and you're more likely to kill a target. Here they activate Bloodlust. You can see that on the Gladius frame. So I use Mass Entanglement to root them both in place, and because I'm running deep roots, it actually sits on them if they don't have a way to escape. It's really fun to do that to melee DPS. If you've had a tough time with these Warriors and Windwalkers and Enhancement Shamans just running you over, this is the composition to try out, this deep root strategy. I'm not even running Thorns. I think that the value of rooting the Warrior here for 3 seconds and not allowing the Warrior to even move across the map, buying us time to just dot up and do damage and run the Holy Paladin out of mana, gets a lot more value. And you can see I'm going to go into Solar Eclipse, activate my Kyrian Covenant, and dump all of my Star Surges. That's your big burst. And what do you know? My big burst got the Divine Shield from the Holy Paladin. So always looking for targets out in the open. Here my Paladin is crowd controlled, so I use Mass Entanglement on the damage dealers to hold them in place. I use my Disorienting Roar. I'm paying attention to this frame right here. This tells me that my healer is not able to heal. Then I keep dropping my casted root solar beam when it's available onto the healer here. You want to snipe grounding totems, so get your mouse cursor going fast. You got to get really good at doing that as a caster in World of Warcraft. It's a skill you develop over time. It can be very tricky depending on how many totems are currently down. Now I'm the target, right, in this instance, so I need to start focusing on defense. Here we use Hammer of Justice on Shaman. If the Paladin dispels, they'll dispel UA and take a lot of damage. If they don't, the Enhanced Shaman can't heal themselves and they can't help out. They take a lot of damage. I really like using Hammer of Justice in this comp that way. Here they pop Bloodlust. This is their big damage, so my Warlock uses Demonic Gateway, and I start tossing out Roots, and I start tossing out Cyclones. I'm looking at this frame at all times to figure out if Bloodlust or Heroism has been utilized, and when it has, that's when I'm really focusing on Cyclones. That's the scary moment when facing an Enhancement Shaman team in particular. And then after the Cyclones are over, I try and flip it over to the healer because I'm not really being attacked. Although at this point, I think the other team is starting to rage a bit because they can't connect onto my Warlock with all of the roots and all the mobility on the Warlock. So they're kind of split DPSing, which isn't a terrible strategy against a composition like ours. But if they're not able to develop any pressure, then they're going to end up taking more damage as a result. Here I pop my Social Alignment and Kyrian ability. I will often save my Kyrian ability, and because I attacked the Paladin previously, I wanted to attack them again. They don't have Divine Shield, so Social Alignment, I was trying to bank on getting a kill, but they've used their Medallion to deny me getting that kill. But now I can Cyclone them and they can't escape. I'll use my Solar Beam on the Shaman in this instance to silence the heals coming from the Shaman, isolate the Warrior. This is the main purpose of cycling the Paladin and silencing the Shaman. But now Ascendance is up. Get in bear form, press Barkskin, use defense, line of sight, use your knockbacks, use your roots. So in this position, I can knock back the Warrior and Shaman out of line of my Warlock. Defense, block, keep them away. That's the main point of this. Here, my Warlock activates cooldowns on the Paladin, so I'm really focusing on the Paladin, but the Enhancer Shaman heals them back up. Now, my Paladin and I are both crowd controlled, so our Warlock needs to avoid damage, which they already are. And whenever I see crowd control next to my Paladin's frame here, I'm looking to Cyclone DPS. That's another quick tell. As soon as I see a box here, it's time to Cyclone something over here that doesn't have diminishing returns. Call for Hammer of Justice onto DPS dealers. In this instance, I like stunning the Shaman because the Shaman heals as enhancement. But if the Warrior moves into a bad spot, stunning the Warrior is a good idea as well. The Paladin needs to be flexible with their Hammer of Justice, but you want to be the one engaging it because you're the one with all the burst damage on the team. Your Warlock is basically a distraction running around dotting. You can use Wild Charge to jump up Z-axis. Don't use it like that. Otherwise, you're going to be in a panic. Jump into bear form when Bloodlust is popped. Pop that Frenzy regen. Stay in bear form. Use Iron Fur. Get a lot of boosted armor up here while your Paladin is struggling to heal through their cooldowns. And you don't really have any... I don't have any roots right now or knockback, so I'll use my High Mountain Tauren Rachel, which is what I really like for extra mobility. And then I'll start dragging away from the Shaman, baiting the Warrior into a bad position, and I'm waiting for that Avenging Wrath. As soon as that's over, I want to crowd control the healer, so I've got Solar Beam. I'll interrupt their heal, stun the Shaman at the same time, activate Eclipse, activate your Covenant ability, dump all your Star Surges. You do a ton of damage. Now, this team is playing well defensively, rotating through their trinkets and their walls and their rally effectively. So our composition doesn't really have exceedingly high burst. Maybe if I was Convoke the Spirits, we would be able to hit these peak moments where we could just kill a team before they react. But without that, a team playing as well as they are defensively is going to take a little bit, as this comp in particular. But you should have fun with the ride and just enjoy the misery of your opponents being unable to move. This is your chance at revenge against all those melee DPS. And you can see we've already got an established mana lead with their Holy Paladin at 30%, ours at about under 50, and we can drink pretty much at any time. Now I've decided to position up on the balcony. This way no one can attack me as melee DPS, and I really like this on Tiger's Peak, attacking from up on this balcony, because you can see the Warrior's like, hey, I'm going to attack that guy. But if I want to, I can just move back into the middle of the balcony, and then the Warrior's not going to hit me at all. They're trying their best to just hit me from there, but they're also kind of angered, I guess, in trying to get to my Warlock, which you can tell at this point is like we're already in their heads. This Warrior is just standing on the bottom, irritated, trying to attack me or get back to my Warlock. This is definitely a comp where their Paladin and Warrior and Shaman need to focus on their root breakers, their slow breakers, time them together for coordinated burst windows if they were going to win. You can shut those down with knockbacks, roots, disorients, and cyclones, so it's all about trading those. Here I dodge the Spear Bastion. They're both on me, so I'm going to use Stampeding Roar. My healer's in crowd control. Time to go bear form. Press Frenzied Regen. Press Barkskin. don't let them hit you. I'm just looking at Bloodlust here on the frame. I'm looking at Crowd Control on the Paladin. Those are the two instances where it's time to be in bear form. It starts to start running. Now it's over. Now it's time to start casting, get into Eclipse, activate your Covenant ability, dump all your Star Surges. That's your big burst moment. I really like Balance of All Things Legendary to get you extra crit on those Star Surges. That's really where your kill potential comes from. But as you get deeper into dampening, your main kill potential is just going to be getting dots on everything and free casting as many spells as possible. I decided to cycle into Warrior, more or less just to make them angry, and then I root them after they trinket, more or less again to make them angry, but also keep them away from my Warlock. The Shaman and Paladin stack up. That's perfect for double Mass Entanglement, Solar Beam. They're both silenced. They both can't heal. And look at that, because of Deep Roots, they're sitting in that with full dots, melting here now that dampening has kicked in. And this is really where the Warlock actually gets to pick up and have a lot of fun and doing tons of dot damage. I use Knockback to prevent them from sticking on my Warlock, maintain dots. I've got Celestial Alignment, but I don't have my Kyrian Covenant. However, because dampening is in, I decide that pressing Celestial Alignment here is just going to be better than waiting for my Kyrian ability for 20 seconds. I just want to maximize it, get it off cooldown just in case this game goes longer. Then we stun the Warrior out of line of sight. Again, the Paladin's always got to be looking. What an opportunity. Warrior's not in line of sight of the Paladin or the Shaman. No one can heal him. No one can dispel him. We've isolated and we've blasted them. So this is a really fun composition if you're kind of tired of the kind of combustion, blaster cooldowns, runaway strategies that most of the best comps are currently iterating on. This composition focuses heavily on just avoiding kiting, maximizing damage, punishing bad positioning, which for me is more fun because I feel like the entire game I'm actively accomplishing something, whereas in a lot of the hit and run playstyle compositions, you feel really cool in that moment you're setting something up, but then you're waiting 50 seconds for that moment to happen without really doing very much, which is why I like this type of playstyle and this composition in particular, and I will be playing it more. If you'd like to follow along on twitch.tv/Supatease, I'll stream my Balanced Druid gameplay there, a little bit of Shadow Priest as well, and I'm doing my best to play with a ton of different classes, so if you're curious about trying Boomkin compositions, I've played quite a few of them. I can't say all of them, but quite a few, and I plan on experimenting more. I'm not just going to stick to that one flavor of the month composition in particular, but I've been enjoying my play sessions so far. If you liked the video, please leave the video with a like. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. It's just going to let you know when my videos go live, and comment down below with your thoughts, what you would like to see, how things have been going for you, and what I can offer to you in assistance. The main purpose of this channel, again, is to be a resource of information and entertainment a little bit. Sometimes I like to think that I'm funny, but maybe I'm not. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.